young corn.
Good morning, good afternoon, people. I've not uploaded in about 5 years, so this is a weird one. So a lot of things have changed. I now drive, so I mean, a lot of people are probably going to be coming from a TikTok anyway, but people that have watched before, stuff's changed. So today's video, I'm just kind of going to go through what I've done to my car and I mean what I'm going to be uploading. I've got a couple of video ideas that I'm going to do after I've recorded this one anyway, so I'm going to post them after. So I own a pre-facelift MK6 Fiesta, and I think one of the main things that I struggle with is when I'm online and I'm trying to find something to do. And I've got some I'm trying to do to my car. I can never find anything on it. Like, forums don't help, and then on YouTube, I think I'm more of a visual person, so if I'm struggling to do something, I'd rather see it there and then. I'd like to be able to post videos and help and that kind of thing. I'd probably end up doing vlogs a little bit later down the line as well when I get a little bit more comfortable with using a camera again, because like I say, I've not actually sat and spoken in front of a camera in about 5 years. So, mods wise, I've got a great old long list, and the list is fucking miles long of everything that I've done. I'm just gonna go through it all. I mean, because it's kind of like memories, and I mean, I've had this car for about 1.5 years now, and it's fantastic. So first bought the car back in February 2023, so we're talking, what are we in now? Are we in July? June? So I've had it 1 year and 4 months. So the first thing that I thought I wanted to do is, it took me ages to find this, and I'm going to try and see if I can get any links and post them all in the description as well. So if you ever want to get any parts that I've got, it'll be in the description. I just think it'd be a lot easier, and I'll probably post it in all of my videos as well. So if you ever see something that you want, you can go in the description and buy it. So the first thing that I struggled to find was an intake for this car, and it took me weeks of searching and going on Facebook forums and groups and stuff like that to try and find what it is. So I finally managed to find a Roose motorsport silicone hose, which is what the actual intake is, and that's paired with a Ramair foam cone, which is a 3-inch cone, and then an oil breather as well, because you're taking the airbox off, you've got to put something there to stop the dust getting into the engine. That was the first thing I did anyway, and I'm going to try and pop videos out throughout this of like the progress of when I did my car and stuff. It might be TikToks, it might be stuff that I can find through my phone, so I'll see what I can do. The next thing that I did, and I remember doing this specifically, I went out with me and my mate, and I'm sat there and I'm thinking, the front toe eye plastic on the bumper fell off, and I was like, ah, right, okay. And then I looked into getting a toe strap. So for the longest time, I bought this Sparco toe strap, which was like a neon yellow, and obviously my colour scheme's like a dark normal yellow, kind of like this yellow. It was a neon yellow and it never matched, and it was zip tied around my crash bar for the longest time. Moving further down the line, this was when I started to do a little bit better things to my car. I started working again, because I literally bought this car and then lost my job. So, and I got back into buying some more stuff, so I went for the carbon fibre gear knob. Whether it's real, I don't know. I mean, it says on here that it was 27 quid, so it could have been, and that stayed on the car for the past 1.5 years. So I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to change it. It's a long shifter. This ain't no short shifter, it's a long shifter. So the biggest mistake that I ever did was trying to find an exhaust as quick as possible. And I think the first thing that people buy is a Hornet, so I went and got myself a Hornet back box. It's still on the car now, but I literally just ordered a new exhaust, which is on its way, and that's further down the line anyway. The next thing that I got was some Halo xenon headlights, and they had a HID kit on them. Biggest mistake that I did, the wiring was a mess on them, and it took 3 or 4 hours. Me and my mate sat there twiddling around to try and get them to work. One of them never had any clips, so it was zip tied in the whole time that I had those headlights. They cost me 120 quid second hand, and I had to drive about an hour to go get them as well. So I then bought an ST rear bumper. This was kind of like the start of doing the whole body and shape in the car, and it come with a scorpion sticker that's on the back of it. It's still there. I mean, further down the line, you'll notice I bought things. I've not kept them, and I've ruined bits that I've got as well. So later down the line, you'll understand this. Anyway, we fit that changed the car. I really like the way that it was sitting at that point. And I've only had the car a couple of months, like if that, and I've only just started doing it. And these next list of things that I've got, I kind of bought them all in the space of about a week, and the car just transformed within a week. And I can't remember where I got the fucking money from. Anyway, the next thing I did was I got myself a set of second-hand rims. Probably one of the biggest mistakes that I've ever done. Set 16-inch vintage Calibre. They were wrapped in 195 45 16s. I think they were budgets anyway, so they were never that good. They were almost bold anyway, so I put the boldest ones on the rear, and then I put the best ones on the front for the grip. I later down the line changed them out, but I wasn't really bothered about them because I've now changed the rims since. But they could never hold air. They were made out of cheap chocolate is what it seemed like. It never, they dented at every pothole, and I'm forever trying to whack it out with a hammer. And I did get around to it. They were originally black. They come in a nice like polished silver, and they would have looked really nice if they went on. But I think I picked them up for 80 quid, and then I sold my standards for 60. They basically cost me 20 quid to get an aftermarket set of rims on there, and it did change the look of the car. It was not really kind of my style, not for a Mark 6 anyway. I've seen them on a couple of other Mark 6s, and they do look really good, but for mine, it just doesn't suit the aesthetic of it. I bought this bumper. I was working on a burger trailer, and I still help out now on that burger trailer, but I was sat on the burger trailer, and we went to go do we were working on a festival, and then me and the same mate I do everything with, his name's Jamie, you'll probably see him later down the line. We then went to go and do a wedding. And on the way, I seen this bumper was for sale, and it was blue. Biggest mistake I've done again. This is all first modifications to the car. I'm seeing what I can do with it. I bought it, and we kept it. We put it in the lockup nearby, and then I went to go spray it myself. And instead of sanding it down properly, we're using 1600 grit and going up and up and up until it's nice and smooth. I used 80 grit sandpaper and decided to rattle can it with some Halford's spray paint. It come out black, but it only looked good from about 20 feet. So that really didn't work out. One thing that I have bought and I have kept forever was it's still going to have it on it now, was my VERTEX steering wheel. I managed to find it on Marketplace for 80 quid, and it was absolutely immaculate. It's been on a car a couple of times, only ever been driven with gloves because it was on the track, and I thought I'm going to pick this up. I fell in love with it. I mean, it's 450 quid worth of kit. The only thing that I did mess up on was when I was trying to solder in my resistors for my airbag light. I managed to poke a little tiny hole on this side, but still looks really good. So the rear spoiler that I got, the first rear spoiler, the ST spoiler, I bought it from a bloke close by to me, and we've kind of stayed friends on Facebook since, which was really cool. This is the best thing about buying all these parts. You get to know more people. And that cost me 60 quid, but that completely changed the rear end of the car. We're having to change the location. My camera got too hot, so I'm gonna have to try again. So obviously the spoiler changed the rear end of the car. I did a quick job, rattle can job on it, and it was already primed when I bought it. So that made my life a lot easier, and it was sanded down correctly. So the paint actually come out okay. The one mistake that I made though is I tried to paint and then lacquer again over the top of when I've already finished it, because I got a leaf in it, because I was painting it outside, which didn't work very well. I then painted my calipers yellow. That was quite fun actually. That was like it was more of an aesthetic thing. After doing loads and loads of like modifications to my car, I thought, you know what, let's have a nice relaxed time, put a couple of licks of paint on the calipers, and make them stand out. And they're still on there to this day. I think that's going to be a further down the line, because yeah, I've not really seen many people do big brake kits on Mark 6s, especially like with a pre-facelift and 5 doors, and it's always ST150s that are out there, and there's only a couple of videos, so that'll be something further down the line. I then had to do brake pads and discs. I was doing Uber Eats at the time, and this is where it starts to get interesting, and this is where this was my, I'm going to say, favourite part of the car. So while I was doing Uber, I never really had the money to look after the car. So my original engine that was in this was 1.4. It comes with a 1.4 gear. The coolant tank was leaking. They're prone for cracking on these cars anyway. They're prone for not being very good. On top of it leaking and cracking, that then led to me putting water in it. Putting water in it will then fuck up the head gasket, that'll fuck up the water pump, and that's literally exactly what happened. So I had basically no water pump, I had no oil in it because it was a very, very leaky lump. Like it never seemed to hold oil. It's self-servicing, but never held its oil. So there's a bunch of things wrong with it. And I went to go pick up a Originally, I went to go pick up a 1.6 lump, right, to go and put in this. I went to go pick it up late at night, never picked an engine up for this car before, so I don't know where I'm looking for on the chassis of it. My camera keeps getting hot and it keeps automatically turning itself off, so let's continue anyway. So I went to go pick up this 1.6 lump, supposedly anyway. Late at night, I've never bought an engine for this car, and I'm halfway through ripping the engine out. I've got a couple of mates around and we're having a giggle and we're having a laugh. I have a look at the front of the chassis and I find out where it says what engine it is, and it said 1.4 on mine. And I go, oh, I wonder where it says 1.6 on the other one. Long story short, it was a 1.25 and I wasn't putting that in. I then had further investigation on it and I had a look, I took the cam cover off. The belt was, I wouldn't have ever driven a car with a belt that cracked. So it never really, that didn't go very well. So I managed to find a 1.6 lump anyway off a bloke that lives very close to me. I managed to find it on 86,000 miles. For saying at the time the shell was on 128,600, and it come with a gearbox, come with all that kind of lot, and I managed to put that in. The engine's still in now. I've got the mileage written up on here as well, so I'll be able to tell you what mileage it's on. So since September last year, because this is the best thing, my mate was determined to get this car running again, because I was off the road for about 6 weeks, especially after having the engine go bang and having the whole situation with the wrong engine and that. I then bought it and had 86,000 miles. It's now on 99,000. I think it's just clocked over to 100,000 miles on the actual engine. It's been in the car since. I've then done a timing belt water pump because I was doing the same thing. I chucked some water in it so the water pump went bang, but this engine's a very good engine. So obviously I've gone and done all that. I've replaced all coolant pipes and all that kind of jazz. The car was then back on the road again. I think the speakers went. I thought it was a head unit because I bought a cheap head unit off Amazon and I'm never going to do that again. I then got myself back into a job and I got all my bills paid off and I had quite a spare bit left over, so I thought I'm going to check out the stereo system. So I bought a Pioneer DAB 360 wireless Apple CarPlay. It set me back about 400 quid or so, and then paired it with some nice speakers. These are Kenwood KFC's OE Audio 1700 watt sub. I had one of those subs in my old car anyway. It was a very crisp, clean sound. For what you paid, instead of going for like an Edge or something from Halfords, I didn't want to have that reputation, so I thought I'd go with this OE Audio sub, and I had it in my Focus and I never had any issues. And obviously at the time I was a smoker, so the next modification that I did was some wind deflectors. I've still got them on now. The rear ones fell off though, as you can see. Then this was the timing belt water pump. That was the next thing that I did. That cost me £133.46. Only took a couple of hours. I had to take a day off work. Obviously, this is when I got my new job, so that was the only day off that I had. And that'll be another thing down the line. I'll be showing you how to fit gauges and all that kind of thing, because I'd like to get a coolant temp gauge and an oil pressure gauge and stuff like that. So I then got a toe strap eye bolt. So I finally got a proper toe strap, a nice one that matches the colour yellow, and I got the bolt for 20 quid. I found it on Facebook, and it was with a blue toe strap. I've still got it. I'm never going to use it because I've gone for a yellow colour scheme. But I then got a Muge Racing gear knob adapter, the same one as obviously it's Muge Racing for my actual gear knob, so I got the gear knob adapter as well. And then I wanted for the longest time the gear gaiters and the handbrake leather. So I got the yellow stitching to match that, and that's completely changed it. This is just I'm just gonna quick fire off a couple of things because these aren't really important. These haven't really got a story. So I got a sun strip to go with it as well. I got a Hoonigan sticker on the back. Bit controversial, but I've grew up watching Ken Block, so it's one of them. I then got off Mods and Flocks, and this is where I found out who Mods and Flocks was. I got the gear gaiter ring. That matched really well, and I thought that looked really good, so then I got another couple of things off that as well. Yeah, I bought the yellow toe strap, that's when that come in, and then I got the black stitched armrest. That was an absolute game changer. I think the interior, the one thing with the interior, I started to fall in love with it, and as you'll be able to tell when I bang on the headliner, if you can see it on there, I've got starlights and that kind of thing. So I fell in love with the interior because I've never actually got round. I just got a stereo and a steering wheel and left it at that. Stock seats up until the other week, and it was a bit rough. But anyway, this is when I started to do a little bit more stuff to the car, and this is where it changed a lot. I then went for some FK coilovers. They set me back about 300 quid. Because I never lowered the car, and the arch gap was ridiculous, and obviously I'm at a nice ride height now. I then got some rims. I got a set of JR28s. I got my own offset. They took a while to arrive because they had to be machined and all that kind of thing, so they set me back about £1,000, wrapped in tyres as well. I then got my private reg, which was also a game changer. That was thanks to my mum. She wanted to be a contribution to this car. This was all bought at the same time, so obviously I got the Starline
top strut mount. It was just from Euro Car Park. They sent me about 90 quid for the front two because I couldn't get them off the old ones and I didn't want to use them because they were that old anyway. So that's lightened up the steering a little bit as well. And this is where I got a load of stuff off Mods and Vlogs, and I was very happy with it. So I got the carbon fibre door handles. I got the twin cup holder in the same carbon fibre, and with this car they only have one cup holder and that's it. And then I also got the heater control conversion from Mods and Vlogs as well, and that's changed it. I wanted all my lights in the interior to be like a nice amber yellow, same as like an engine light colour. It's kind of like all the colour of all my lights. And then got the Starlight headliner kit and the die, which set me back about 80 quid. And then also from Mods and Vlogs I got the, I could never get the driver's side door switch to be yellow. I soldered them all myself, so I bought that off Mods and Vlogs as well. And then I got some floor lights, so that's kind of completely changed the interior. I got the yellow interior light up here, and then this is where my car pretty much went. Again, I was driving down the motorway. I'll see if I can get a video up of that, and all of a sudden, puff, big bang of smoke, and one of the coolant pipes goes to the heater matrix, decided to split and burst all the coolant out, so I had to get another one of them late at night, about fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. I had to find someone, so it cost me 60 quid for that pipe. This is where I was very lucky to get a hold of one of these, and this is one of the apparently it's one of the genuine, call it an ACR RS spoiler, that sent me back £500 on the dot, and I was looking for one for the longest time. I got an O2 sensor elbow because my engine light's always been on because of the exhaust and the engine swap and all that, because it's still running a 1.4 ECU, so it doesn't really know what it's doing. I then picked up myself a set of Devil headlights. They were not working on Facebook and they were up for 40 quid. Spent a day trying to rewire them, and they work. I then found a K-brace literally 5 minutes down the road from my house. So I picked up that. I still need to spray that yellow. That's the only thing in the car that's actually white, but that's the colour that it comes in. And then this is the recent purchases that I've done. I bought a Gravity Performance stainless steel. I'm pretty sure they're unequal length headers as well. So bought a decat. As you've seen at the start of the video, it's very loud. And then it says on here a Cobra Sport back box, but I haven't because I went to go buy it a couple of times and it took the money out, but it said transaction cancelled, so I've had to go for a 4-inch Sportex, which is currently on its way. I ordered it about 8 days ago, so I don't know where it is. Right, my camera's getting very hot, so I'm gonna have to hold it for the rest of this. So I then managed to get around to getting these full heated leather seats. That was something that I literally did recently, a couple of weeks ago. Sent me back 250 quid for the front and back. And they are in mint condition, and I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. I did everything else beforehand. And then while I was there, this was at Kano STs, everyone will know who it is if you're from the UK. So I also bought a set of passenger doors because it's got a ridiculous fucking dent in it that I've had since I bought the car. So managed to get myself around to getting a set of doors as well. I then got a B-pillar trim because that kept falling off, and then I got all the fuses and relays for the seats. And that's pretty much everything that I've done to the car. So far anyway. That's kind of like an up-to-date on everything that I've done. So if there's any suggestions that you want to know how to do, because I know that pre-facelifts are all an issue, and there's so many things that you're never going to be able to find how to do, especially for me, like simple things like the heater vents. These ones, there's nothing on how to get them out yet. Obviously I know how to. I know a couple of people that have. It'd be nice to be able to do a couple of like informative videos and show people how to do stuff, just the random things that you're going to want to search and you can never find anything on, that kind of thing. So it'd be very helpful to do those kind of things. So the next video I might be showing how to wire up the heated seats to a normal Mark 6 because it doesn't come with a wiring loom, so I'm going to show you how to do your own wiring loom kind of thing. So that's everything that I've covered. I'm sorry if it's been a bit long and I've been waffling on a little bit too much, but I thought I'd at least get you up to date on everything. And obviously there's a few things that I have missed, but they're just things that I've bought, and that's just things that are on my list. Obviously there's stuff on here that, like the pre-facelift dash, obviously I've got mine to light up white. That's a little bodge job, so I'll be showing you how to reprogram a dash as well, because I am going to be buying another one off, I think both called Swift LEDs. So anyway, I'm not going to keep you any longer, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that will be, and see you guys later.